This music is going to be remastered soon, because this is the sound quality for the old-ass Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei. The game came out in like 1995, 1996-ish, and in my opinion, it's like one of my favorite games ever. Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei. So sick, my childhood, bro. So sick. Anyway, I love this game, man. This game is like the peak rail shooter. And I get it, rail shooters aren't that great of games, but like in an era where Star Fox was like kind of the premium rail shooter, Panzer Dragoon was doing all this also alternating path stuff before Star Fox 64 kind of was in a 3D space. And it had like evolutions of your dragon. It had incredible music. And it was done on a SEGA Saturn, man. This system was trying. So, the history behind it is that there was a remake of the first game, and it was pretty good. Launched to some problems. It had a couple of issues at the start, but for somebody like myself that was really into Panzer Dragoon, it was neat when they eventually did figure out the controls. Panzer Dragoon Remake was actually not bad. I think it was a better remake of House of the Dead, which I thought was tolerable, made by Forever Entertainment. Now, the problem is these Forever Entertainment guys have had a wide amount of successes and attempts at stuff. Some of the games that they put out over time were kind of rough. Their first big effort, which was Panzer Dragoon at remaking a classic game, they did a pretty good job, and they eventually turned it into something really cool. House of the Dead, I thought they did a pretty good job. They turned it into something pretty good. House of the Dead 2 happened, though, and I don't really want to talk about it. I heard about the Front Mission games as well, which they also did, and I did not hear good things about the Front Mission games. When it was spoken about that these same developers years ago were going to be taking on Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei as well, it was huge, man. Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei was just recently announced. And it is going to be, you know what, let me get I actually have the media kit for it. Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei is going to be on like nearly everything, and it's coming out at some point, but it's going to be soon playable. So we see this like beautiful Saturn game that has an amazing visual style, all of this stuff, and then they finally post screenshots of the game. There's an initial artwork, which I think is pretty cool. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not so bad. That's sort of what the game looks like. These things look good. I'm down. Zwei's respected. And then I see a screenshot, and I'm like, oh man. Oh no. Some stuff looks okay, but it's pretty rough, dude. It looks all right. I think it could be, this forest does not look this way. The forest is all vines, dude. It's like a vine forest, and they changed the look of it. I know a lot of people don't know what the hell this game is, or what the hell we're looking at, or why doesn't it make any sense? What are we even talking about? But a lot of old SEGA heads like really love these Panzer Dragoon games. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt because some screenshots look okay, but some screenshots look unnecessarily bad. Like, this looks like an upscaled original Xbox game. OG Xbox, not an Xbox One, like original Xbox ass looking thing. This looks worse than Panzer Dragoon Orta. And if we pulled up a screenshot of Orta at high resolution, 7 years ago, Xbox put out a port of literally an Xbox One game, just up-res, man. And it looks incredible, dude. It looks so good. So even like older games from the OG Xbox can still look pretty decent and still have like a lot of the wonderful pizzazz and frame rate as it was before. But again, Panzer Dragoon Orta is nice, but it is not Zwei. It is not Panzer Dragoon 2. That game is so goated, dude. It has such cool moments about it that I'm really hoping that they hit. The good news is that they talked a little bit about the game And for the new game, there is some neat things that are being discussed. I want to get off this screenshot, man. It's making me upset. There is some relatively cool things that are being discussed that are kind of exciting. Yeah, the corridors look okay. It's weird that there's like no illumination coming off of the lasers though. This looks good. Okay, I'll give this screenshot credit. I like this. This is the final brigade where you're taking down the ship and it makes the ship look absolutely massive. I actually really like this. The sense of scale in the Saturn version of Panzer Dragoon Zwei was particularly impressive for the Sega Saturn. So it's talked about that it has all the stuff from the previous game, but it also has remastered music. They talk about enhanced visuals. They talk about classic control scheme, a modern control scheme. I really am remaining hopeful here, but I'm worried, you know? House of the Dead 2 and what Forever Entertainment was putting out for some of their previous titles was not it, man. And it was seemingly like the cheapest versions of games that were kind of like taking advantage almost of like nostalgia and people that like this stuff. And they're like, oh, there's an audience for this, right? So we're just going to put these out. A reminder, Panzer Dragoon Remake was pretty good. And it was one of their first things that kind of put them on the map. This game is sort of like what put them on the map. And the quality of this is honestly not that bad. It came out and there was a bunch of targeting issues and playing the game had problems, but they fixed it relatively quick. They were doing nostalgia slop. It feels like that's what they're doing now because several of their ports feel like nostalgia slop and they don't feel like they're anywhere close to the originals and almost like the originals are better. A House of the Dead 2, an exemplary example of that happening. And I'm assuming that the team that did this is the same team that is doing this. I really would like to make the assumption because it seems like Forever Entertainment's just working on way too many games right now. They were using like generative AI for some of the front mission games. I don't know, man. You're comparing a finished product to early screenshots? Right. These screenshots were selected and shown. Screenshots are a part of a marketing plan. What we're seeing here is chosen by people that made the game as the best representation of what their game is. Some of those representations include things that look like this. Okay? And this is coming from a developer that does not necessarily have a good track record over the past couple years. This is a press kit to get you impressed, dude. You don't pick bad-looking screenshots. You really wouldn't. I didn't pick these screenshots. They did. If it's me gonna be relatively critical about what we're looking at, I'm gonna be pretty critical, man. I like this game. I really like this game. I really like House of the Dead 1 and Panzer Dragoon 1. So I found there to be a nice middle ground with some of those games where those offered a different enough experience to get me kind of excited. But dude, like Panzer Dragoon has some incredibly cool moments. Some incredibly cool things that happen in this game. Like even some basic stuff, just the way like the sky looks too bright. Like I would not have done that if given the choice. And yeah, comparatively speaking, some of these new shots, like they actually look pretty good. I do think once again, the level of scale here looks a lot better than what happens in the original game. I do think in some of these shots, I'm actually relatively impressed with what's going on here. And I like it. I like it in comparison to what's happening even in the original. So I think there's some even ground here. But this is arguably one of my most anticipated games right now, dude. Like, this really is one of my most anticipated games because of how much I love the original. Look at this moment. Just look at this shit. Hold on a second. Look how the last episode is introduced. This is like one of the last fights in the game. Look how cool this is. The ship is going down. It drops off something. And then the last episode kicks in and you get this music. And then your dragon goes through its final evolution. And good luck, because it's massive, dude. And it's like a very long, like 5-minute fight of just attrition. And just surviving against this massive thing, dude. It's so sick, dude. Some of the moments in this game I genuinely adore. This level is so dark and so depressing. And it's crazy how well executed it is. And they send all these scouts, these ballsack scouts to come get you. And these wonderful little like silent moments where the game is literally loading. All I'm saying is that I got a lot of hope that this is good. I see some screenshots and I think it is okay looking, but in other screens it looks like genuinely hideous. It's like, well, this is an original Xbox game, man. There needs to be some atmosphere or something.